excellent performance, we'd like to end with 2 stories. Now, as you all know, story is above all rooted in memory, memories of times past. But story also flowers, the best stories, into images of the possible, which call us in our time to reflect on how we live. I am Rosie Hackett. I was born in 1893. I was born into an ordinary family, working class people. My father was a barber, my mother was a housekeeper. I just had 7 years of schooling, and after those very few years really, I got a job as a messenger in Jacob's factory. The biscuit factory, by and large, had women employees. I'm not sure where I got it. You probably have it. But I had a deep passion for justice. And I could not stand the lack of terms and conditions and the appalling pay that these women received. And so in 1909, I became one of the first members of the ITGWU. I was an active trade unionist all my life, and I believed in the absolute importance of the unions, above all for the poorest of workers. So, in 1911, I organized the women in the factory, and 3,000 of them came out. Yes, I was a very young woman, but out they came with me. And yes, we won. We got then better terms and conditions. I also founded the Irish Women Workers Union. And around that time, I became a member of the Irish Citizen Army. But of course, it all changed in 1913 with the lockout. We all lost our jobs. I lost my job, but I got employment in Liberty Hall. One thing I want to say about Liberty Hall, it is my honest belief that it was, and maybe is, the most important building in the city. I worked there at everything. I ran a printing press, and in fact it was I who ran with a copy of the proclamation still damp off the printing press to Connolly. By 1970, I was given an award, never important to me, but in 1976, my life ended and I was given military honors. Now, as many of you know, they have decided to name a bridge just very close to this theatre that spans the Liffey over the Liffey. And all I would ask is that as you cross that bridge, you would stand and remember what I stood for. Stand and image the possible for female, poor women workers above all, that they could have different terms and conditions, proper pay in this 2013. Now, may I introduce to you my great friend, a woman who was 25 years older than I, a woman who I greatly admired and who mentored me, a young woman. I always called her Madam.
I am Constance Georgine Markiewicz. I was born into a life of privilege in 1868. My parents were leading landowners and they entertained lavishly in the Citadel. I enjoyed country pursuits, hunting, driving, riding. But I became a Republican, a labor activist, and an advocate for women and their suffrage. With my friend Rosie, I served soup in Liberty Hall to the strikers and their families. I was an ardent supporter of the Irish Women's Workers' Union, formed 2 years before the lockout. And as a member of the Irish Citizens' Army with my comrade Rosie, we helped to defend the workers during their demonstrations against and from police violence. I was sentenced to death and imprisoned many times for my radical beliefs and activities. I was the first woman to become an Irish minister, named Minister for Labour in the first Dáil Éireann. And as I said in 1918, our national freedom cannot and must not be left to evolution. Fix your mind on the ideal of Ireland free. Ireland needs each of you to build up our national life. Now is the time, and on you the responsibility rests. For each of one of you, there is a niche waiting, your place in the nation. Try and find it. It may be as a leader, it may be as a humble follower, but it is there, and it is for you to find. No one can find it for you. To sum up in a few words, believe in yourselves. Arm yourselves with weapons to fight your nation's causes. Arm your minds with the histories and memories of your country and her martyrs, her language and a knowledge of her arts and her industries. Arm your souls with noble and free ideas. Extraordinary and ordinary women, Rosie and Constance, inspire in us images of the possible. They remind us today that many of Ireland's people are still not free. The young, I can see some of you, who leave our shores because there are not enough jobs. Women who desire public office but still face the barriers of a patriarchal order. Lesbians and gay men who do not have the right to marry the person they choose to love. Refugees and asylum seekers denied work permits, and children growing up in the midst of intergenerational poverty. And so, in memory of Rosie and Constance and all of the strikers and their families, we issue all of you, all of us, a noble call to become the risen people. Rise up again and again. Rise up.